She is a mother to 4 beautiful babies, 2 of which she had postpartum depression with. She got hit by the birth bug hard and became extremely passionate about all things surrounding pregnancy, birth, and postpartum. She has since found her purpose in life through helping and supporting other mothers in their journey through pregnancy, birth, and motherhood. Angela has been a registered nurse in maternal child health for 19 years and has her bachelor's degree in the science of nursing. She had postpartum depression 4 times and has given birth 3 times. She has 4 kids and a huge passion to let other moms know they are not alone. Please welcome Kari and Angela.
Leah, I want to know where my other bio is.
Yes, Angela did have another bio, and it was quite good, actually. I didn't know which one to put.
You ready for this? Yes. My name is Angela, and I'm a mom of 4 kids, and my house is very messy, although I want it clean. I yell. Sometimes I look in the mirror and I see that I'm a monster to my children. And I have anxiety, and I take Zoloft for that anxiety and depression. Oh, and I'm basically, Kari's over here and she's organized. I'm basically a train wreck in the spin cycle of a washing machine.
I'm Kari. I'm a mother of 4. I am clean. I do have a clean house. But on the inside, it is complete turmoil. And I have extreme irritability and anxiety. And I take placenta.
Can I have some of your placenta?
Absolutely.
You can have some of my Zoloft if you want. How are you doing this morning, Kari? Are you nervous?
I'm totally nervous.
When Leah said Facebook Live, I literally had palpitations.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like sweating.
That's all right. There's like 6 of them on here. It keeps saying, watching, watching, watching.
This is our infamous. This is our claim to fame.
Yep.
Our one and only. Did you sleep last night?
Nope.
Me neither. Okay, so I think we got that out of the way. We're a little nervous. This topic that we're going to be discussing this morning can be pretty serious. It can be a little heavy at times, and we are a little bit nervous. So just bear with us. I've never dumped my soul out like this before. When I was getting ready this morning to come here, I got dressed, and my husband said to me, I was digging through the drawers, and I was like flinging shirts left and right. I was like, where's that one shirt? He's like, which shirt are you talking about? I was like, my green one with the writing on it. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. There's kids running everywhere screaming, and I'm like, I have to have this one shirt. And he's like, I don't understand why you need this shirt. And I said, because it says, as a mother with her hands full, what does it say?
My hubby's
Nothing, because I have no time. And he says, why would you wear that? That looks ridiculous. He said, don't you want to look dignified? I go, I have sparkles on my butt. I am dignified. So that's as dignified as I'm going to get today, is the sparkles on my butt. Okay? All right, so.
She's clearly the comedian in all of this. I'm not, so enjoy.
By discussing this topic, which is a heavy one, we wish to bring you light, knowledge, and let you know that you're not alone. We want everyone to know who's struggled or are currently struggling, that there are other people out there struggling also. Now, whether you've had postpartum depression, anxiety, or not, maybe you know someone who's struggling. So we do understand and realize that not everyone struggles from this. And sometimes just being a mom, which isn't just at all, is a struggle enough. And that's okay. So we want everyone to know that you are not alone, and there's a stigma that can often be associated with postpartum anxiety and depression or mood disorders. But as we discuss this morning, our hope is to normalize this and let every mom out there know whether you suffer or not, you are not alone. So, what we're going to do now is kind of break into our backgrounds a little bit and tell you kind of how we got here. Well, you want me to go first? Sure. Okay. So my story is long and I could talk for hours. Leah cut me off legit. I had to pay her in beans, dry beans, to get 5 more minutes on the front end. Okay? I'm just saying. So I have 4 kids, and they're under the ages of 5. All of them are. And I've wanted kids forever. I've been a nurse for 19 years, which I don't feel like I'm that old, and I certainly don't act like that I'm that old. My husband and I tried for 3 years to get pregnant, and we couldn't. So we were presented with the opportunity to adopt, which we said yes, absolutely. When I was 12, I was diagnosed with a weird-shaped uterus. I'll spare you all the details. And I thought at that time that maybe I couldn't have kids. So I always knew kind of in the back of my mind that I was open to adoption. So when my husband's sister came to us and she said, "Would you like to adopt my baby that I'm pregnant with?" We said, yes, absolutely, without a doubt. So she was 7 months pregnant, and then I found out I was pregnant. So we came home from the hospital with that little newborn baby. And I was 2 months pregnant. So I had a newborn at home, and I was in the mix of nausea and sleeplessness and exhaustion. And even before Haley was born, my sister-in-law was carrying her around inside her belly. This was her 9th child that she had given birth to. And it used to cross my mind, I used to say to myself, I think someone needs to tell her or force her to stop having kids, because she just keeps having these kids and she doesn't have custody of any of them. And then it occurred to me when she graced us with our baby that I think God had given her that job to give babies to other people who couldn't have them. Let me tell you, the stress and the anxiety that I experienced knowing that our baby was inside someone else and I couldn't control that was horrendous. And being pregnant at the same time, I was stressed about the stress I was having, that I was going to overstress my baby that was in my belly. I couldn't stop crying. I was a train wreck. I would have to go bang on her door, wake her up. She was on meth, knowing that my baby was going to be exposed to meth, or being exposed to meth, have to drag her to the doctor, maybe get her to some appointments. It was very stressful. So there I was, 34 weeks pregnant, standing in our kitchen, and my water blew up. It just burst, like Niagara Falls. I have no idea how water coming out of your vagina can get your bra strap wet, but it did. Right? So I go into the hospital, 34 weeks. She's feet first trying to come out for this party. I'm like, sister, this is not going to work out. There I was with a 5-month-old, having a C-section, and she was early, so she was in the NICU for 2 weeks. So this was like, Lord, what is happening to me right now? I sat in that NICU for 11 days in this fuzzy pink bathrobe with ducks on it, crying the entire time. I cried the entire time. They called the social worker on it. And they were like, this woman can't stop crying. I was like, I know, I can't stop crying. But as a NICU nurse, trying to control, which was so silly, I can't control anything. Just trying to control what was going on with my baby. Brought her home, basically had another baby, and then another baby, because we thought it would take a while, and it didn't. Like, we sort of didn't realize what was happening or how we kept getting knocked up. And it was definitely something in the water, because it couldn't be anything else, right? So I had these babies at home. And I would try and hold them both, I would try and pump, I was trying to do it all, I was trying to be it all. Do you know how ridiculous that is? How ridiculous that is. I saw this therapist once, and she said to me, she took a piece of paper, and she drew on it She said, this is you right here, okay? Draw a line. Tell me, when along this line, where's the point that you're going to be enough? Where is it? Is it here? Is it here? I didn't know, because there's no such thing. I already was enough. There was no line. So I would beg my husband not to go to work. I knew that I was stressed. I knew that I was exhausted. I tried all the pills. We're talking like vitamin C, vitamin D, potions, skunk juice, Russian horse snot, thistle of rose. I don't know, I took it all. I took it all trying to be enough. And I probably took some of Kari's placenta. I didn't even know it. None of it worked. None of it worked. I then started seeing this counselor who told me that, she said, I just want you to think about taking the Zoloft. I fought for so long not to take it. And finally she said, we see that these moms who have multiple kids back to back to back, it's like having a pot of soup that you're baking and you keep adding a potato and another potato and a little boils over and then a little boils over and then boom, the whole pot's going. So what pushed me over the edge was one day when my husband said to me, he took my kids and he went somewhere and he said, we have the best day without you. And when I realized that I was my family's fun killer, that was not okay with me. I was irritable, I was grumpy, I was angry, and I didn't even like me. So how could I expect them to like me? So I took the Zoloft, and it saved my life, again. Now, I'm not saying medication is for everybody, because it's not. But for me, it was the right thing. I've got notes for days and days, but I need to let Kari go. So, I think that covered enough of that. Kari, what about you, my friend? How'd you get here?
Well, if something was in your water, then it was in mine. Because we have babies back to back as well. But rewind. So I was diagnosed at a very early age with endometriosis. So from 16 on, I knew I wanted kids and I wanted them fast, if we could. So fast forward, we get married, we conceive Kai in about 3 months, so it didn't take us long. And from there, because of the endometriosis diagnosis when I was early, I had taken Zoloft in college for anxiety because of all the diagnoses that I was having, and my doctor's appointments doing it alone in college, away from home, was extremely stressful. And Zoloft was terrible for me. I didn't feel like myself. So therefore, knowing going into kids, what's going to happen? Leah, do you want to take her? Yeah.
So that's a example, exhibit 1 of what happens when you drink the water.
Okay, so fast forward to getting pregnant and having Kai. I had no clue what I was going into in the postpartum period. I had done research on pregnancy and birth and was prepared for that, but no idea what it was going to be like afterwards because no one talks about it. You know, they talk about the breastfeeding struggles and the birth struggles, but not about the hormones and the ways that you feel afterwards. So I wasn't prepared for that. And then 4 months later, we got pregnant with Tinley. So again, same situation. You know, I have a new baby and I'm trying to figure this out. And now I have another pregnancy and I'm extremely sick. And that was just a terrible mixture of anxiety and stress for me. I'm trying to be enough and trying to do it all, but you can't. So those first 2, I definitely had severe baby blues. I never got a diagnosis of postpartum depression, but I definitely was and definitely had that. So then coming and moving here to Vacaville, I, in wanting to have another baby, decided we're going to prepare differently. We're going to do something different because this isn't working. And if we're going to have kids back to back, then I need to be a better mom and I need to be better for myself. So I took different measures of studying and becoming a doula to better prepare myself for what was to come the next time. And my third and fourth were so much better, and I owe a lot of that to God. Just really pulling on His strength because I don't have that strength on my own, and so I spent a lot of time in prayer through my pregnancies and afterwards of just trying to figure this out and using God's strength. And the other measure I took was encapsulating my placenta, which is not for everybody. There's no clinical research, but it worked for me. And whether that was the placebo effect that worked for me or it actually does something, I definitely contribute to that. So there's a little bit of our backgrounds. And now we're going to talk a little bit more about what postpartum actually is and how we can get through it in different ways.
Absolutely. So there are actually quite a few different postpartum mood disorders. I'm going to try and make this quick and just kind of list them off, not go through everything. But I do think it is important for everyone to know and be aware because as women, we think depression, postpartum depression. That's the number one word that's thrown around out there. But it actually manifests in women more as anxiety, as anger, as intolerance. So there's baby blues. Which is 80% of moms will experience this. It can happen when baby's about 2 to 3 days old, and it should only last a couple weeks. Maybe some teariness, some crying, sleep deprivation, that kind of thing. It will resolve on its own without medication. Then there's postpartum anxiety. Approximately 6% of pregnant women can get this before the baby's even born, and 10% of women postpartum can have this. Postpartum panic disorder, and then also postpartum obsessive compulsive disorder. And then last but definitely not least, and very seriously, is postpartum psychosis. They range in different things, and as I was even reading some of these and doing my research for our talk today, it occurred to me, oh, well, isn't this fancy? I've got like a trifecta. I've got a little postpartum anxiety. I've got definitely some panic disorder, and I've got definitely some obsessive compulsive factor going on here. The anxiety can manifest physically in your body, and you don't realize it. Like when I first started having panic attacks, I was sitting here looking just like this, like I am right now. And I was like, well, I feel fine. I'm not like running around screaming like a banshee. I'm not like pulling my hair out. I'm not like ripping my clothes off. I'm not, so I was like, what's going on here? So I didn't realize. Some things that you can feel are palpitations, hot sweats, nausea, headaches, numbness in your limbs, numbness and tingling, claustrophobia, shortness of breath, like you can't breathe, or chest pain. And the obsessive compulsive disorder, that's a tough one because I think all moms, to a certain extent, have this. Because not only have you just given birth to the most incredibly amazing thing, but now you've got to protect it. Like, that's the biggest job in the world. As if that's not enough stress on its own, right? So, just last night, I go into my girls' room, I check the lock on their door, I check the alarm on their door. I think these are things that we're just protecting our family, right? So you just want to watch out when it starts to become something that affects your daily routine. That's when it's a problem. The psychosis, that is delusional or strange beliefs, hallucinations, hyperactivity, a decreased need for sleep or can't sleep, paranoia, suspiciousness, or rapid mood swings. If any of these on any level happen to you, don't be afraid to reach out and talk to your provider, talk to a friend, talk to somebody. We're going to go later over some of the resources. I think we're going to list them too, even on the Facebook page. And like I said, you can have combinations because there's no prejudice between these mood disorders. Girls. You can have 1, 2, or 3, or none.
And nothing is ever textbook either. So I feel like that's a big problem is that women do, read and hear things and they're like, well, that's not me. I don't have feelings about about hurting my baby. I don't have feelings about hurting myself, but it manifests differently in everybody. And, you know, for me, mine is a really weird thing. All of a sudden with kids, I have this weird overstimulation that happens in my head. So if we're talking and I've got a crying kid over here and the TV's in the background, I am flooded with everything in the front, and I can't, I just can't. And for me, that's so weird. And initially my husband was like, "What is wrong with you? This is just normal." I'm like, "No, because it's not background noise. It's up here, and I can't focus." And talking to my therapist, she's like, "Well, yeah, that's definitely postpartum." It's like, okay, see, I'd never heard of that before. And so, just don't ever take anything lightly. That, this is the normal. Because for me, I'm like, no, I need help out of this, and it's okay to seek that help out.
Do you want to learn a new big word?
Sure.
Catastrophizing.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about this? I have this. This is one of my favorite, and it's not funny at all. It's not, but it is. Yeah.
So, who as a mom thinks of the worst case scenarios ever that really aren't that realistic, but they feel extremely realistic? Mine is my kids falling in a storm drain. I don't know why, but I see storm drains in the street and I think, oh my God, what if my baby wasn't attached to me and I somehow dropped her and she floated down the storm drain because there's no way I could possibly catch her in time after I dropped her, and then falls in the storm drain. That is crazy.
And legit.
And legit.
Do you want to know mine?
Yes.
Okay. So mine. One day I'm driving over the Martinez Bridge. And if you look on the left, there's that train bridge that has the graffiti on the top. And I'm like, how'd that graffiti get up there? Somebody got up there. First of all, I'm scared of heights. So it sure the heck wasn't me. I'm like, what if I was up there? Because that's obviously where I'd be. On the top of the train bridge.
Definitely.
But not just me, okay? Now I've got 2 babies with me on top of the train bridge, okay? And hang on, my bedazzle, yeah.
My bedazzle.
My dignity, and my husband doesn't look dignified. My dignity's falling down, hang on. So I'm on top of the train bridge with 2 of my babies. I'm driving across I'm literally in my car. I'm by myself and I'm driving across the train bridge. I'm not on the train bridge. I am, but I'm not. Okay, hang on. I'm driving across the Martinez Bridge. And I picture myself up there, and it's so real. I start crying while I'm driving down the road. 780, 680, I don't know what it is. But I've got 2 babies. I've got one under each arm. And I'm like, okay, I'm up here. I'm on the top of the bridge. But now one of them does that surfboard thing, and then goes spaghetti. And I've got to hang on to him because he's gonna fall off the train bridge. And I'm like, wait, hold the phone. This is ridiculous. I literally had to talk myself down off a train bridge I wasn't even on. And I said, all right, out loud, driving down the road. Okay, this is silly. Would you ever be on top of a train bridge? No. So this is not actually ever going to happen. So it's gonna be okay. You're not alone if you catastrophize things. I didn't even know that word was a thing. I had no idea. As moms, we are very, very talented. The things we can come up with to spiral into this toilet of hell happening to our children, we should probably use our talents elsewhere.
Moving on to more of the physical changes that happen in postpartum, because it's not all mental and hormonal for everybody. But you just had a baby. Okay? So your body is physically putting itself back together.
I can't just run a marathon?
No, you can't. I'm sorry.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
Can I carry in all the
It's
groceries?
a walking season and not a marathon season.
I don't like that. I'm a very go, go, go.
No.
I'm all or nothing. So I want to go back exactly how I was before. I can't do that.
Took you 9 to 10 months to grow a baby. 9 to 10 months to go back, if not longer.
Rome wasn't built in a day. All right, Mom.
So yes, just remembering that, you know, your pre-body baby, or, well, your pre-baby body is definitely a goal to try and achieve, but ladies, accept the new and accept the changes and find your new normal. You know, simple things, running errands. You're going to have to find your new normal with a baby, and doing that with multiple kids. Sex after baby. I know that this is a big one for a lot of people, at least it was for me, is that I didn't feel like it, I didn't want it, and I had no idea why. There are literally things happening in your body, and hormones are being suppressed, which makes you not want to have sex, especially if you're breastfeeding. All your lube is up here, and there's nothing down here. So just realize that that's normal, and it's okay, and it will go back, and you will have desire again, and be able to achieve, you know, your sexual health back. Things like taking care of yourself in the postpartum period. So, you know, a lot of women have diastasis recti and don't realize what that is, and that's when your abs separate. That's not something you have to live with. Peeing while you run is not something you have to live with. Like, there are things you can do. There's physical therapy. You know, there are exercises. Simply breathing is a lot of the background of that. So just take care of yourselves too, and realize that there are ways to better and to be back to normal.
You mean I have to give myself grace?
You do.
Like, if I was going to be nice to you and you're having a hard time, I have to be the same way to myself? Why is that so hard? Why? I would not look at Candace and be like, Candace, you are a train wreck, girl. You need to get it together.
Yes.
I mean, come on, can't you handle this? So why do I say those things to me? That's not okay. It's rude. Stop being rude to yourselves, girls. Start showing ourselves loves. Loves, all the loves. So there's this nifty little acronym that we use to talk about how we can take care of ourselves. It's called NURSE. Nurse yourselves back to health. The first N stands for nutrition. It's really, really important, ladies. I know how hard it is. You're trying to breastfeed, you're trying to pump, you're trying to take care of a baby, maybe another kid, 2, 3, or 4. You want to grab some Oreos or some goldfish or some chicken nuggets, whatever you got. If it's possible, the best thing that you can do for yourself is eat real unprocessed foods and eat every time baby eats, right? Drink lots of fluids and water, high calorie and dense nutrition foods. So avocado, nuts, seeds, even protein shakes, plant-based, lots of fruits and veggies, lots of greens, healthy lean meats, beans, kale, spinach, all those kinds of things.
Shop the outside perimeter of your grocery store and not the aisles.
Yep, and if you are anemic at all, that can really increase anxiety, actually. So if your provider talks to you about maybe being a little bit anemic, taking an iron supplement, research that a little more with them.
Yep. The next one we have is U for understanding. And that's just understanding what you're going through and seeking knowledge, seeking the resources to help you get through it, or, you know, going to friends, family. Just understand it's okay, you're not alone, and get through it.
Absolutely. The R is for rest and sleep. Ladies, this is probably the hardest one to get a grip on, and also the most important. When that baby goes to sleep, don't play on your phone, don't play on Facebook, don't text, don't check your emails. Go to sleep. Go pee, eat, and go to sleep. Sleep deprivation is so real that there's actually a reason that they use it on prisoners of war. Like, it can screw somebody up so big time. So trying to get enough sleep is really, really important. When I'm taking care of moms in the hospital after they've delivered their baby, I have this little spiel that I love to give. And it starts like this. Because they'll bring these people, a family will come, 20 people in the room come to visit, and I'm like, oh, look at all 20 of you, it's 10 p.m., why are none of you asleep? Don't do that, okay? Oh, they're calling me to work. No, I'm just kidding. It's so nice to visit and so nice to feel loved, but one of the most important things you can do when a mom is giving birth is give her space. Let her sleep and let her rest. So I tell moms, start using paper plates And when grandma comes over, tell her to bring a lasagna. When auntie comes, ask her to clean the toilet. You bring a salad and you fold the laundry and then go away. Because you've got to sleep, right? That's so important.
Next one we have is S for spiritual. So, whatever this means to you. If that's praying, if that's getting in your quiet time, going to church, yoga, meditation, whatever this means to you, make sure that you get that in. Because you still have to fill your own cup in order to continue to fill your children's cups and your husband's. And to pour into everybody else, you have to pour into yourself. And, if you are a faithful person, at least for me, that was huge for me these last 2 rounds of pregnancy and birth, is really pouring into God so that I can be filled.
That's something I struggle with a lot is I've been working on journaling, and that helps with my spiritual time too. E stands for exercise. Obviously, I'm going to go run a marathon. I don't know about the rest of y'all.
Yep.
And by that, I mean just chasing my baby around and making him change his dirty diaper. Don't go crazy. Just if you've had a C-section, or you've had a really big tear, or you've got something going on, be nice to yourself. Just start walking in the mailbox, and from there, just progress. Walk around the block. You don't have to go back to the gym. You don't have to run marathons there, so you can walk with the baby in the stroller. Luckily, we have tons of trails around here, beautiful places to go. You can even do workouts at home. There's YouTube, there's all kinds of apps that are free, there's different options. So just be kind to yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And on the be kind to yourself, we're going to talk a little bit about self-care, which is a huge topic, I think, right now. But we're talking about legitimate self-care, not going and getting a mani-pedi, not going to the grocery store alone. That is not self-care. And we both talked about how, we went away and had our manicure and expected to come home and everything was going to be fixed, right? Because we got an hour away and we did something for ourselves. Yeah, no, it's like another bomb went off while we were gone, and it's worse than when we left, and that's because it's not actually doing anything to better yourself. You come home to chaos. What happened? This was supposed to work.
You want to grab the front door and go right back out.
Yeah. So, basic level, shower, if you can. And we know this is hard in these seasons, but showering, eating, getting yourself dressed, brushing your teeth. I know for me, the days that I actually get dressed and do my hair and makeup, it makes me feel better. And that definitely helps versus, staying in your PJs all day, although there are definitely times for that. But
absolutely. Water therapy is so good, so really just getting that shower can do such an amazing thing. Journaling, reading my Bible, talking to God, praying. One thing that I'm really, really, really good at is staying busy, so I don't have to deal with what's in here. Because I will Google, 3 in the morning, I'm all, how tall was Jesus? First of all, why am I on the phone at 3 a.m.? And Jesus is still there for me, no matter if he be 3 feet or 7 feet. Okay? Or stroller that turns into car seat. So I've been working on driving in my car with the radio off and just being with myself. And it sounds really, really silly, but I legit had an entire conversation. Again, not the Martinez Bridge and the train thing. This was another one. I like to talk to myself. And I liked it. I was like,
it's amazing to be in silence.
yeah, we can practice that more. And it's okay to not do anything.
And again, this is different for everybody, so maybe a manicure and pedicure does work for you, and that's what you just have to figure out. But, we're talking about legitimate breaks. I was just talking to someone in the last 2 weeks because I was having a meltdown over not getting breaks, and she said she created a routine of breaks with her and her husband to allow her space to get away, which is super important. If you need to go to physical therapy, go to physical therapy. If you need to go to counseling, do that. your quiet time, things that allow you to actually feel refreshed and rejuvenated. That's the type of self-care that we're talking about.
So, in conclusion, basically it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to have stuff going on with you. It's okay to have skeletons in your closet. And by sharing those, by talking about those, it doesn't make anything wrong with you. What it does is it lets you know that you're not alone. We normalize these things. I guarantee you that there's someone in this room right now who has a problem with alcohol. There's someone who has a problem with substance abuse or knows someone who does. There's someone whose husband has been maybe had integrity issues. There's someone who has a problem spending or a ton of debt. Or there's someone who can mainline 47 Reese's Pieces in one sitting. I have a problem with food addiction. I do. That's how I cope. I eat because it tastes good and it releases chocolate, salt, sugar, fat, releases the dopamine receptors in my brain. The same things that street drugs do, and I like that feeling. So I stay busy unwrapping Reese's, popping those little bastards one at a time, so I don't have to talk to me.
It's an entire sleeve of Thin Mints.
Yeah, you see? And it's okay. It's okay to say those things out loud. It's okay to say, I go to Weight Watchers. It's okay to not be okay.
Yep. And ladies, we're not supposed to be enough on our own. That's not God's intention for us, and God shows His power through our weakness. And I really feel like we need to rely on Him. That's what He wants from us, and we can't do it alone. It takes a village, so let's be a village for each other. And we're meant to be in community. Mox is a perfect opportunity to create that community and step out and have these conversations. Because when you say it and you realize you're not alone, because there's someone else who's going to be feeling the same way. Who can relate to you in one way or another.
What about filling up my calendar with so many things to do? I mean, I've got these 4 kids. They've all got somewhere to go and somewhere to be. My husband works 3 days a week. I work 3 days a week. I work 3 to 11 p.m. I leave, he puts the kids to bed, and I come home at 1 in the morning.
So can you go to a play date today?
Well...
Or dinner tonight, let's do that. A ladies' night?
What about a pedicure tonight? After the play date and the ladies' night, and then... No. N-O. Say no. It's okay to say no. It's okay to know your boundaries. It's okay to set them. It's okay not to do all the things.
Yep.
That's self-care also.
Absolutely. Finding your new normal. Again, I mentioned that earlier, but exercise in this season is going to be different. This may not be your marathon season. Getting ready for the day, that's going to look different. Do you have to wake up early to do your hair and makeup? Maybe not. Just throw on some pants and some shoes and get out the door. Running errands. Your intimacy with your husband is going to look different in this season too. Juggling multiple kids, your schedule, just finding your new normal and knowing that it's okay and it's just a season. It will pass.
Also, how about expectations? What do I expect of me? What do I expect of my spouse? And what do I expect of these tiny little people? So, if I can knock down an entire bag of Reese's, because I can't handle my emotions, why am I expecting my 3-year-old to handle hers? So, we need to realize that it's our job to help them. They don't come out of the womb knowing how to maintain and manage their feelings and their emotions. The more children I had, I realized that my standards needed to lower. So for me, it's health and safety. Because I've got so many kids and so much going on that unless you're bleeding or you're trying to jump off the top of the Eiffel Tower or swinging through the lemon tree in the backyard, Like, I'm personally gonna let a lot of things go. Kari maybe is a little more organized and doesn't let a lot of things go. And that's what works for her, and that's what makes her feel sane. So for me, if you want to come to my house, it's like a museum, a zoo museum. There's a marker on my wall, and there's stickers on my floor, and I'm okay with that, because I can paint over it if I want to. But I'm not even gonna lie, there's this little monster behind the rocking chair, and it was the first time I realized that my 5-year-old could draw a face. And I love it. So I'm told that one day I'm gonna miss these things. So I try, and I'm able to right now. This is something that's really important, I think. I'm now in the season, because of a really good therapist and because of Zoloft, that I can say this is just a season. It's gonna be okay. But when I wasn't in that place, I was dark. I was so dark. I thought that maybe I made a mistake having these children. I actually regretted having them. And all I've ever wanted and prayed for since I was like 12 was to have kids. So when I knew that that wasn't right, that's when I sought help.
And just like for her, being crazy and living in the chaos works. It doesn't work for me. That creates more insanity in my head, and I do keep a clean house and I do clean up at the end of the day because that is like therapy for me. It's very therapeutic. But I'm finding ways to manage it differently. So in the day, yeah, come over. It's going to be chaos. But at night, I find my peace in putting it all back together. But that way, during the day, I can be present with the things that I prayed for so long.
So Leah's going to start charging me more beans if we don't wrap it up. So we do have a list of resources and help. We'll put those on the Facebook page later. Excuse me. Right now, I am going to sing a song that I think... We got a comedian over here. Do you want to sing, Haley? Come on. Come up here with me.
Are you serious? Ladies, yes, ask for help, and we will put resources out there. We're not licensed therapists, but we both have, professional titles in these areas, and if we can't help, then we can point you to resources that can. For each other, community.
Are you ready for the song?
Sing a song, girl.
When you feel crazy, call Haley Garza. Tell her that you need some help and don't want to be alone. All right. Thank you everyone, thank you very much. So now I'm actually going to sing. I've been singing and playing songs since I was 6. Every time I try lately, though, I get really, really stressed out and I lose my voice. So please bear with me. I've been struggling with a little bit of a cold, so with the Lord's help, I'm just going to try and do the best I can on this song. A man wrote this song. I don't know how. He must have written it for his wife or his mother or something, because it works. It works way too good. All right. Oh, how do I turn this thing on? It's a wait. Okay. Technical. Hello? Hello, Houston. We have a problem. There's no sound here on my keyboard, Ms. Leah. Wash your hands and wipe your face. The table's no place for your toys, and try to use your insides. So we put down our forks and bowed our heads, and then she prayed the strangest prayer ever said. I wanna thank you, Lord, for noisy children and slamming doors and clothes scattered all over the floor. My husband working all the time, dragging in dead tired at night, a never-ending messy kitchen, and dirty dishes. We all got real still and quiet, and Daddy asked, "Hon, are you alright?" She said, "There ain't nothing wrong." Noisy kids are happy kids, and slamming doors just mean we live in a warm and loving home. Your long hours and those damn dishes in the sink mean a job and enough to eat. So I'm gonna thank you, Lord, for noisy children and slamming doors and clothes scattered all over my floor. My husband working all the time, dragging in dead tired at night, a never-ending messy kitchen. For my little busy bees, begging mama, mama, oh can you please always want me to call in need. Loads of laundry piling up, crayons crushed into the rug, and those little sticky kisses and dirty dishes. Oh, and dirty dishes. Damn dirty dishes.